going on? I want to thank you for coming to Vape with a Viking. So today what I got for you is another in the Timesvape saga thing going on here all of a sudden. It is the Ardent RDA. So this is a kind of a special little RDA here. I did purchase this for the purpose of the review and to complete my my setup here. We got the Ardent in gunmetal stacked with the Ardent on top, and it does have a nice little nifty feature that I've utilized where you can actually take off the whole bottom portion of the 510 to make it a true hybrid connection. So, and what I'm running in there is actually a set of K-Coils series aliens, and we are running some Cerberus in there from Darkstar. And Cerberus is a vanilla cream custard with a blend of cheesecake, marshmallow, and cream in there, and probably one of the better just straight vanilla custard. Well, when it comes to vanilla custard, it's the best that I've had. I've had other custards that are better, but they're different flavors. But when it comes to vanilla, they killed it with this just because it doesn't have that real chalky, powdery, fake vanilla. You know, you got that little bit of cream, a little bit of marshmallow, a little bit of cheesecake filling in there. So really good stuff. But before we get into any more of the Ardent, I want to do Vikings Advocacy Minute. It's going to happen every single time. I'm sorry, but not sorry. So like I tell you, you don't have to be involved, but you have to be informed, because nifty little trick here, if you're informed, more than likely you're going to get involved. So I tell you, knowledge is power. If we wake up tomorrow, there's no more vaping, and you say, well, I didn't know, it's on you. So if everybody gets informed, we cannot use that excuse anymore. Lots and lots of bad stuff going on, legislations, laws getting passed, bans, and just now even tons of misinformation just getting flooded out there. So the more everybody is informed, the less power those misinformative ads, videos, articles that come out, they won't have any bite anymore. You know, if there's not people buying into it, that just takes away their power and gives it to us. So please, CASA.org, Not Blowing Smoke, Facebook groups, advocacy groups everywhere, Discord channels that for advocacy, it's everywhere. There's just no reason why we shouldn't be informed. So I'll totally get off that soapbox, but get on the soapbox. So, but let's get on to what we're here for, and that is the Ardent RDA. So what we're gonna do is what we always do. We're gonna go and dive down, put the build in there, go over some factoids while we're down there as well, and then we'll come back up, we'll vape on it, and I will give you my thoughts and more information. So without further ado, let's drop the hammer on the Ardent RDA.
Okay, so what I got for you today is a re-recording, lost all my data, of the Ardent RDA, and this is from, of course, Stan, TenaciousTXVapes, and Timesvape, and it comes in the normal kind of packaging that you're expecting to see from Stan and Timesvape. Got kind of this whole 80s motif going on. So across the top you got Ardent, and on the sides you got Timesvape, and it says the Dreamer Hybrid. We'll get into that. Designed by Stan and his website. And then on the other side, got some more social media stuff. Be Tenacious, which is Stan's credo, motto, logo, whatever you want to call that. And a kind of real quick look of what it does. Now this is kind of an older device, not really old, but older, so everybody's going to probably know what that is, but I'll still show you anyway. And then on the back, we're going to have all the specifications, your contents, and all that good stuff. And I was told for the longest time, and had seen and read, it's a 28 millimeter, but it does say 27, but it does fit with the keen on a 28 millimeter ring. So it's totally need to get some calipers. Anyways, let's get into the box. You're going to have, of course, your little card here, your user manual, and then, of course, you'll normally get your atomizer and drip tip and all that. I have that off to the side here. You're going to get a bag that has the O-rings, an extra excuse me, 510 pin there. Of course, you're going to get a screwdriver, and of course, I've opened this all up, so it's all just everywhere. You're going to get screws for the post. You're going to get another negative screw, and then you're going to get some basically post block springs. And I'll show you that here in just a sec. So this is the Ardent I'm using. I did get it in gunmetal, so it does match not only my Dreamer, but my Dreamer stack. It's all in gunmetal. I've been using this in a stack mode. I put the bottom back on so you can see what's going on here. But normally this is your configuration out the box. You have on the bottom, you have your design in USA, Ardent, your serial number, Stan, and manufactured, designed by, but manufactured by Timesvape. And then on the side, you do have your honeycomb airflow, and that is on both sides. On this side, you of course have the Timesvape logo, and then on the other side, you will have Ardent. And normally, it has a much smaller, almost non-frosted, almost glass-looking 810 drip tip, really short one. I've been using this guy because I am rocking it in a series build, and this helps get the mouth a little bit away from the volcano. But it does have the internal O-ring 810. So, and as you can see, if it's any O-ringless or goon style 810 drip tips. And the reason why it's more of a volcano, I am using, of course, K-Coil's series build in here. Now, what you do to get this ready to be what they call a true hybrid RDA is you take this pin here and you just unscrew it. So you get that pin out, and then the bottom unscrews, and everything, threading and everything on this guy has been really, really good. And you'll see there's the bottom. So you have your true connection here, copper connection there, and then of course there's your negative there. And like I said, the way I've been using it is on the stack Dreamer, but if you just had a regular build in here, you could also just use just the Dreamer itself. So this will only work for the Dreamer just because of the threading and all that. So, but now when you take and put a battery in, it literally goes straight down in there. So there's no connection to the 510 or anything. The battery's going straight to the RDA. Let's pull that guy up. Now, of course, my stuff's going to be a little dirty. I've been using it for quite a while. Like I said, I had the data ready to go, ZenQ, and yeah, I went to upload it all and go to edit it, and it just was gone. So, pardon my dirtiness, but I do tend to run heavy custards in here. So, of course, with a lot of sweetener, that's going to kill that cotton. But that's a couple of weeks using like Dark Star Cerberus custard in there, so not too horrible. But as you'll see in here is the way that these posts are is they have a V in them. And you know what, we'll just go ahead and pull one side out here, take a look. It is flatheads, and we all know how much I love flatheads. Yeah, not really. So the way that this thing works is really cool. With those springs, as you unscrew, and this is with or without a coil in it, it'll start, the whole block will start raising up on its own. And that's just because of the little springs that are in there. But the other thing that makes it pretty neat, and yeah, we don't have to get all the way open, you will see in here, move some cotton out of the way. Yeah, we'll move it out of there anyway. You will see it's got this kind of V into it. If you move your finger out of the way, there you go. It's got like a little V in there. And what that does is, well, this is a good example. You see the coil there, how it's kind of flattened a little bit, but it's not like super squished and distorted and all that. That might have been for me clipping it wrong. But the way that that V or notch, whatever you want to call that in there, works is no matter how thick your coils are or if they're twisted or bent even a little bit, you just pop them in that V, you screw this down, and it just nicely conforms. You know, put your legs in there without really any distortion, without any bending. So it's a really nice, looks weird, but it is a really nice little setup. It it makes building it very, very easy because you don't have to worry about where those legs are going to be at. You just, as long as they're in that V, put down the block and you're good to go. So very decently deep juice well, and the way that it's essentially put together is you got a very, very angled airflow, which, as everybody knows, I'm a very heavy dripper, over dripper, and I've only accidentally, because I wasn't paying attention, got this to leak on me once, because it is a pretty darn deep juice well. The only thing that I would have liked a little bit better with it, because I had, when I did over drip it, it was really bad because they are angled, but in my honest opinion, they're angled the wrong way. They need to come up for anti-leaking, but for airflow itself, it goes right under the coil, works really, really well. But this is a pretty good size RDA, so to get that kind of angle right on your coil and then to also come up, it would probably increase the size a bit. So I definitely understand why it's not like that. So again, like I tell everybody all the time because I'm horrible at it, just watch your dripping and you'll be good to go. So yeah, not a ton to it here. Like I said, I've used it live a couple times on the Rising Vapors show on Saturday. So if you're familiar with that and have seen that, you probably see me use this guy. Like I said, it's definitely really good in flavor, but I call it my custard flavor banger because custards do really well in high temperatures. So this will definitely do it. And of course I got juice all over the place, but I will show you what it looks like all together on the Dreamer stack here. Very simple. See how it just screws right on to the top there. And then when you put this guy on here, your airflow, you're basically cutting down those 3 holes out of that honeycomb. So, and they're pretty simple on the inside. Pretty plain, pretty simple. You're gonna be, if you do it through a stack, you're gonna be rocking a lot of vapor. So it doesn't need to be too intricate in there. So it does have a fully closed one direction, and then of course I would say fully close the other, but that just locks it so you can get the RDA off. And if you see, here's how you adjust your airflow there. So there's 1 hole there, there's 2, and then there's 3. So it's not a ton of adjustments, but it's definitely enough to make a difference for you. But let's pull out there, and that's what she looks like on a stack. So, all right, let's take and let's bring this back up top. We'll vape on it, and I will give you my final after testing thoughts of the Ardent by Stan and Timesvape.
All right, so welcome back up on top with the Ardent Dreamer stacked sexiness. Ah, such a sucker for gunmetal. That's all there is to it. Gunmetal. Gunmetal. Anyways, so the particulars on the Ardent, I know in the dive down, I had said it was 28 millimeters. Even when I put it on the Keen, I said it was 28 millimeters. I have no idea why. I had it in my head as 28 millimeters. Eventually, I'll remember to buy some calipers so I don't misinform you. So, but the correct information, at least from Timesvape's website and from Stan's site, Lucid RDA. It is a 27 millimeter RDA. My bad. So 27 millimeter spring-loaded clamps. It has what they consider a side bottom airflow, which you saw in the dive down. It is off to the side, but it comes up underneath like a bottom airflow. So it's kind of a interesting little airflow option. Now, that being said, when it came out, it's definitely one of those. It was an innovative thing. This is kind of a little bit of an aging RDA, but now you're starting to see more of those like the Rebirth and stuff like that, where they are a side to bottom airflow. So, but it does have that removable 510 basically bottom section for direct hybrid connection to the Dreamer and Dreamer Stack mods. So it's in my opinion, when you do that and you take off that bottom, of course it makes it a shorter RDA because it's a little taller when you have that extra bit at the bottom there. And it just, I mean, God, it just matches real nice. I mean, it's just smooth, fits it. I mean, it was definitely made for the Dreamer and Dreamer Stack, but you can put it on anything and still looks good. But that's just like the ultimate looking good. It's like there are models out there, and then there are like Victoria's Secret models. The Ardent, it's a model. You put it on the Dreamer, it's a Victoria's Secret model. So performs really well. It's $35, $40, just depending on where you go, and so many different finishes. There's stainless, there's gunmetal, there's black, there's white, there's copper, there's brass. I think there's like 8 different colors. So just like the Dreamer, so many finishes that you can fit it on anything really. So again, running some Cerberus, some K coils, series coils. Show you a little vapor production on this guy. And oddly enough, I'm not running 30Ts in this. I'm actually running some Sanyo 2700s that I usually use in my Cthulhu series box. Put them in here. Performs really well. So let's check this out here. Yeah. Huh. 2700s and just filling the room with clouds. So, and big shout out to K Coils too. He's always told me, if you can, run custards as hot as possible. Cerberus has been a really good go-to for vanilla custard, but then running it in series on stack, fat kid delicious. So shout out to K Coils on that little nugget of information there. So again, running series aliens, some 2700s, and Cerberus in there. It's delicious. It's amazing. So some of that, of course, is going to be the coils. Some of that's going to be the RDA. Some of that's going to be the juice. You put that all together, it's like a perfect storm of yumminess. So the RDA itself, I specifically purchased for the setup. And also, because you're going to ask, and I always forget about that, the drip tip. Actually, a little low profile drip tip was actually from the Og Vape and Mike Vapes intake RTA. I've actually taken and used this on a lot of stuff. I like that drip tip. It was a really good drip tip. So pros and cons on the Ardent. Realistically, I mean, pros, you got the versatility of it. You can keep that bottom on and it'll fit any 510 mod. You take that off, it'll do a direct hybrid connection with the Dreamer and Dreamer Stack. So versatility, pro. The flavor I'm getting off of it, and to full disclosure, I haven't put a regular build in it and run it just non-series or non-stacked, just because I did buy it for that purpose. So I essentially, I know, my bad, I can't speak on a normal build, but pretty darn easy to build on, especially with the spring-loaded clamps and that kind of basically V or inverted V shape that Stan put in there. It doesn't matter how your legs fit in there, you go to cranking down and it sets them in there really nice. The only con I could think of, and it's subjective, and it's not even necessarily for me, because I vape or I drip a little bit differently when I know it's a hotter build, like on a series build. But you know, you could semi easily over drip this and have it leak out. Um, I tend to be a little more light-handed on my dripping. It's weird because I know this is going to be a hotter build. I know it's going to hit really hard, so I tend to take very shorter draws off of it or shorter pulls, so I know I don't have to drip a bunch. So I don't know. I'm weird like that. It's how can you change your dripping method depending on how hot it's going to be? It makes no sense. I'm strange. Okay, so like I said, that's going to be a subjective con. Is it could be easily over drippable, depending on how heavy-handed you are. Um, I don't know. Con. Some people might not like that little top weird lug nut action thing going on. I guess that would be a subjective con on mine, just because of this setup. Everything's nice and flowy, and then you got that thing kind of going on. I don't know. It's just I'm just having a hard time coming up with a lot of cons. It performs really well. It looks pretty good, and looks damn good on this setup. So, but on anything else, it still looks good. Maybe a bit on the tall-ish side, but you know, it was made for Stan's product. I mean, and Timesvape's products. Let's just put it out there. So when you put it on Dreamer or Dreamer Stack, it's literally the best case scenario in my opinion. So that's why it's really hard to find a lot of cons. But yeah, that's really all I got about that. A lot of pros to me, but I think it's because I do have it on the ultimate setup. So, but that's all I got for the Ardent today. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming to vape with the Viking, and I'll check you later.